If you come across this today, then let me tell you that you are very much guided and protected, and it's time for you to step into that next level of your journey. And if you apply what I'm going to share with you here today, then you can completely change your life. One simple shift and suddenly the struggles, the doubts, the fears, they begin to vanish. But if you keep doing what you've always done, then nothing will ever change. And so today I wanted to share with you how you can shift that part of you that's been holding you back emotionally and mentally and have the breakthrough that you have been waiting for. And I've seen this in my own life. It's something that I used to help break that negative thought loop. And even people that I've come across in my life who I've shared this with, or through people I've met through my one-on-one coaching. Now, 95% of who we are is made up of the same set of particular behaviors, thoughts and emotions and unconscious habits that are deeply ingrained within us and running on autopilot. Because when we go through so much in life, we are conditioned by our parents, by our culture, society, education, workplace, environment, and in particularly our childhood trauma, that we become conditioned to live a certain way, a particular vibration, whether that's, for example, victim mode or survival mode. This then becomes our known familiar reality. It starts to feel safe to us because it's predictable and we know what to expect. In other words, over time we become hardwired into the same emotional pattern, and we repeat this cycle continuously because our emotions and our thoughts are tied to the past, reinforcing the same known beliefs. Now, before I go through some of the stages on how you can break free from this cycle and shift your life, let me share with you a personal example that will explain what I've just talked about. Now, those of you who watched my previous videos know that I was brought and raised up by my grandparents. And as a young adult, as a teenager, every time I had to go visit my dad and my stepmom, I was filled with anxiety. Dread crept in. My chest felt tight and I felt like I just couldn't breathe. I was driving down and I was like, oh my God, I felt like I was going to suffocate. And my stomach would start turning and I felt like I was going to vomit. And this happened every time. Fear would kick in because we never had the best relationship. And I was terrified of what they were going to say, that my body would go into a fight or flight state. Because I would unconsciously repeat the same thoughts and emotions over and over again, year after year, it not only became easier, but it became part of who I was, part of my known identity. And this happens because the body is conditioned to that same rush of chemicals that they become addicted to them. Essentially, what this means is that the body is conditioned to live in the past. The body is emotionally locked in that old automatic programming running on autopilot. Even if the environment changed, the body will still believe more in its internal chemistry, that hardwired programming, more than what it's seeing in front of it. Because emotions are the language of the body. It's a chemical residue of that past event or experience. So even if I encountered my dad in a different setting, like when he came to visit me at my grandparents' house, or I saw him at a wedding function or at a party, my brain would trigger the same response, firing away in the same brain chemical reaction, because I conditioned my body to live in the past. I would copy the past into my now and thus into the future. And when this happens, nothing changes. And this happened with external family members as well, because of the abandonment issues, because of the emotional abuse that I had growing up as a child, and never having that sense of belonging. I handed my power over to these people because of people pleasing, because I wanted a sense of belonging to a family, because I wanted validation, to feel worthy, to feel loved. And these people, they owned my energy. This, as a result, creates your personal reality, your personality, because as you start to identify as this person, you're not only retelling the story, but you're also reliving it at a deep neurological level. But you, and only you, have the power to change that. Change the way you feel, change the way you think, and you change your life. Not so that you can handle the trauma, the pain, the discomfort, the fear. You're already used to those. But so that you can handle joy, so that you can accept happiness back into your life, ease, peace, relief, calm, back to neutrality, a meaningful relationship, better health, and aligning your soul with your soul purpose, your dharma, and so much more. And so you're being guided here because your higher self knows that it's through this, through the stuff that's been buried deep within, through the emotional debris that you need to clear and let go of, that you will find that newest version of yourself. Now here's a shift, and I want you to stick with me here because I'm going to break this down into stages. For the next 2 days, I want you to intentionally change your thoughts and emotions. I challenge you for the next 2 days to choose thoughts and emotions that align with your future self and not with your past identity. Because if you want to change your future, you have to stop identifying with your past. You have to get beyond all those things, people and objects, memories, wounds, all that confusion, by taking your attention and energy of all those things and calling back your energy. Now, if you're not sure on how to call back your energy, I will link that video in the description box below, so take a look at that. But you have got to start, and it will be uncomfortable to begin with because your old self is being challenged. And when you do this, I encourage you to come back and let me know how you're getting on. And where I can, I will give you my intuitive support and guidance. But know that your higher self, the universe, has placed you here at this point in your life because it knows that you are 100% ready and that you have within you what you need to break free from that cycle and accomplish what has been placed in your heart. And yes, 2 days can be more than enough to start rewiring your brain, to build enough momentum, because when you start to change your thoughts, you start to rewire the brain, you create new neural thought pathways. And when you begin to change your emotion, your body's chemistry begins to change. In other words, the more you focus on positive thoughts, the body responds as if those things are already happening. And the more you become aware in the here and now, where you're not dwelling on the past or worrying about the future, instead your attention and your energy is available in the here and now, you can consciously not only catch yourself, but become aware of your thoughts, emotions, and start taking action that align with your future, with everything that you want to desire and bring to fruition into your now. It's in the here and now, in the present moment of now, where you have available new energy to not only create a different outer experience, but to also change your life. Now, in a minute, I'm going to be going through some additional examples and some self-help questions that can help guide you through this process. But the second part to this, and this is what most people miss, is that thoughts alone aren't enough to create that long-lasting change. Emotions must follow that thought. Why? Because emotions are the driving force behind our behaviors. Let me break this down. Our thoughts, which make up our intentions, are the electric charge. And our emotions, those elevated emotions that carry a higher frequency, are the magnetic charge. And when you combine these two together, they create an enormous electromagnetic signature that's equal to our internal state of being, drawing back a like-for-like experience from the quantum field where infinite possibilities exist. So when you have a thought and you feel that elevated emotion, whether it's joy, ease, gratitude, love, appreciation, you solidify that thought in your brain. The stronger the emotion. And the emotion acts like the glue that connects the thought and that new pattern in your brain. And therefore, the deeper the change, not only in your body, but also in your life. Your thoughts are so powerful that they have the power to not only change the structure of your brain, but also your life. Every moment is a chance to shift your mindset, your thoughts, and create your future, shaping your path, setting the foundation for what's to come. And your thoughts, which are so powerful, that if you believe something to be impossible, it will be. But if you choose to believe what you desire is possible, you begin to align yourself with these possibilities. Now, when you're truly present, and I mean when you're truly present, that is when the shift happens, because you open yourself up, allowing transformation to take place. For example, if you're always saying, I'm too tired, it's too difficult, it's too painful, what's the point? Nothing changes anyway. I've tried it before, I've heard it all before, nothing's the same. This is just the way my life is, and that's all it is. What's the point? And I just give up. These are the thoughts that stop you. These are the thoughts that keep you stuck in that negative thought loop, like energetical roadblocks that are hindering your progress, keeping you stuck in that same known reality. But if you started saying, I believe that anything is possible. I believe in miracles. I believe in synchronicities. Blessings are coming my way. I believe in better health, a problem being solved for me. I believe that my higher self is there, guiding and showing me every step of the way what I need. And I trust in the divine timing of things. I am loving awareness, consciousness. I have so much love in my life. I am safe. I am blessed. When you do this, and you're truly present, and you get clear on your attention and intention, this starts to become the new voice in your head. And what you essentially begin to do is rewire your brain into new waves of frequency and feeling. And when you practice this long enough, and yes, 2 days are more than enough to start building that momentum, but after that, it's all about consistency. You have to keep in doing the reps. You know, it's like building a muscle. Your brain is a muscle. You have to put in the reps. Just like with weightlifting, you know, you go into the gym, you're not going to see immediate results straight away. You have to go in, put in the reps, be consistent, put in the effort, get clear on your intention and attention, and then you will start to see the changes. And when you do this against all odds, you open up your heart. Your mind and your heart start working coherently, and then you will start to see significant changes occurring in your life. And remember, you are what you practice. You've got to put in the reps. And somebody that I worked with for over a year on a one-on-one intuitive coaching, they followed these instructions. And along with this, they also started keeping a morning and an evening gratitude journal through which they were able to tap into elevated emotions, but also becoming aware of what triggers were coming up so that they can get to the bottom cause of it, root cause of it, release and let go of it and transmute it. But when they did this consistently, they began to experience significant changes in their life. Like first in their subjective experience of themselves, like, oh wow, this shoulder pain's gone, how strange, how weird. Or I slept better last night and I haven't felt like that in such a long time. These small indicators are feedback, letting you know that whatever you're doing internally within via your thoughts and emotions are working. And they're changing your vibrational frequency. Keep going, keep doing what you're doing. And then over a long period of time, and when you catch yourself every now and then in the present moment, you will start to see instrumental changes taking place, not only within, but also in your outer world. Because remember, everything starts from within. Your reality is a reflection of your internal world. And an affirmation to help you through this is, I have shown myself that my words and my actions are in alignment with each other. I am motivated to move forward in the direction of my dreams. I've shown myself that I have the strength and the courage to keep moving forward on this path. Now, to take this even further, that little bit deeper, I'm going to go through some questions that can help you to stop identifying with your past and to bring your awareness into the present moment of now. Because this isn't just about thinking a negative thought and then immediately replacing it with a positive thought, but it's about acknowledging, okay, this negative thought's come about. Where is it from? When did I start thinking this thought? What belief is it attached to? Where is it from? Who gave it to me? Was it right? How do I associate with this negative thought or this negative belief? And how does it make me feel? Because this isn't about bypassing what's deep within. You know, it's not instantly replacing it with a quick bandage and hoping that it will go away. It's about sitting with what you're going through, feeling through what is coming up, so that you can also acknowledge, you can accept, you can make peace, you can forgive when you're ready with compassion, so that you can then let go and release that energy from your energy field and transmute it. What aspects of my past am I holding on to, and why do I feel they define me? This helps identify memories, roles, or experiences you're clinging on to. How would I describe myself if my past experience didn't shape my identity? This encourages you to explore who you are in the present moment, free from history. What beliefs or patterns from my past no longer serve my current goals or values? Here, you've got a chance to look at the narrative that may be limiting your growth. What emotions or feelings arise when I consider letting go of my past identity? Here is about unconsciously becoming aware of any resistance or attachment that needs to be addressed. Who am I in this moment? And what values or qualities do I want to embody now? This is about focusing on defining your present self based on your current aspirations. Now, these were 5 questions that can help you not only to stop identifying with your past, but also to bring your awareness into the here and now, to raise your conscious awareness. And I will put down 5 additional questions in the description box below, so be sure to check those out. And here are ways that you can use these questions. Number 1, via journaling, because this allows for deeper self-reflection. Number 2, meditation. When you're sitting there in stillness, detached from the identities, the labels, the roles, from the past wounds, from the past experiences, everything else, and you're there in stillness, and you perhaps bring a thought or a question, to your mind, you're able to observe that question and then observe mindfully what thoughts or what feelings arise, or particularly what memories, because this will enable you to identify where it's actually coming from. And then when you've sat with this for a little bit longer, in your meditation, in that stillness, in that quietness, in the void, you can then start to observe where this energy that's attached with that emotion sits in your body, in your energy field. Because beyond all this muscle mass and everything else, you are pure energy, you're pure consciousness. And sometimes when we get these aches and bodies, it's because there's stored and blocked energy in our body that remains there stagnant, dormant, and it pops up every now and then because it hasn't had a chance to release. So when you're sitting in that meditation, observe where it's in your body. When I did this once, when I was early on when I first started doing meditation, the first time I experienced pain was in my eye. And the thought that followed that was, when I was younger, and me and my cousins, we were messing around and we were doing karate, I was actually kicked in the eye and I had a big black bruise. So that pain, even though it had been years after, but that was the first pain that I invited my higher self in, and I called my higher self to heal that area of myself. So when you're sitting there with that emotion and that pain, and you feel that pain point, take your awareness and your energy to that area. And then when you're ready, with compassion, bring some healing light to it. Invite your higher self to help you heal and release it. Thank it for it has served its purpose, and then release and let it go. Another way that you can use these questions is through regular check-ins. And this is revisiting questions like this so that you can keep track of your progress and where you are in your life at that point. Because so many things can be thrown at us, things that catch us off guard that can put us back a couple of steps. But by doing these regular check-ins, you can be able to remain consistent with what you are going through. Because remember, it takes a lot of energy and a lot of effort to do this. And this will help you keep track of not only where you are on your path, what new things have come into your life. It will also help you keep track of any feedback that you've had, from your outer experiences. Because as you change internally through your vibrational frequency, you'll start to see things appear into your life, new opportunities, new experiences, new people. Whatever that may be, even start seeing angel numbers or intuitive wisdom come through. Make a note of it. And this helps you keep track and acknowledge the fact that, yes, it is working. And the last one, seeking coaching or healing from a professional. And remember, by consistently engaging with questions like this, you can begin to gradually detach from past-based identities, rewire the brain, and shift your life. Now, here's the key to tapping into the present moment, because it's like you're being asked to step outside of your mind and just imagine that you're floating just above your head. Because when you're there, you are able to consciously observe which thoughts are driving which feelings and which feelings are driving which actions, habits, patterns, behaviors. Because when you're there observing, you can do something about it. You can see which ones are no longer serving you, which ones are keeping you stuck in that low vibrational energy. And when you do this long enough, consistently, you're able to change those with more uplifting and empowering ones. Being in the present moment, you are essentially being asked to get out of your own way. Because by doing so, you become consciously aware of what is actually going on, without being emotionally invested with old energy. It's like training a muscle, like I mentioned earlier, training your mind to stay focused. And it's in that focus that you begin to surrender to the unknown and you begin to trust the process. But so many people resist this because it means leaving behind what we know. It takes us out of our comfort zone and we fear the unknown. But here's the truth. By remaining there, stuck in those negative thought patterns, those self-limiting beliefs and low vibrational emotions, is a slow death. You will never grow if you don't embrace change. And right now, you've been called to shift from overwhelm to insight, to meet the shadows with courage and desire, to step back and reconsider what you need to transform, what you need to heal, what you need to let go of, what you need to purge through, and to reclaim your power. You can always look back at your past identity as a way of looking at the lessons that you've learned, or the ways that you have grown and changed as a new and better version of yourself. And along with that, all those wonderful things that came along with it. How much you were able to let go of the old karmic cycles, generational traumas, and looking at understanding them as part of your soul contract, as part of the human experience that you came here to have. And when you go through something like this, it will feel messy, it will feel chaotic, and you may feel confusion and disorientated, and that's okay. That is supposed to happen. Things that are no longer a vibrational match will fall away, and that's okay. Let it happen, because you're breaking the energetical bonds between what was and creating new wave frequency. And that's okay. It's part of the process. Trust the journey. Trust where you are. Trust that you're being guided and supported. Hence why you're being shown this divine sign, through which you'll be able to feel that renewed energy, new opportunities, new experiences, new synchronicities, new things coming your way, new relationships, a new way of being, and a new way of breathing. So instead of fearing this change, I encourage you to welcome it in, because without change, you remain where you are, stuck. So I challenge you for the next 2 days, and you know what, why not start today? Why not start right now? I encourage you, I challenge you to intentionally choose thoughts and emotions that align with your future self. And it's through these daily consistent steps that you'll be able to build a new foundation for yourself, a foundation of a new set of beliefs, thinking, feeling, and doing differently. And it's this new foundation that will bring forward, that will propel you towards your future vision. And at the same time, start learning how to tap into gratitude, because when you tap into this gratitude energy, it takes you from lack to abundant, and it opens up so many doors for you. So take a moment each day to find something that you're grateful for, and it could be anything. You know, the air that you breathe, the fact that you have the opportunity to just open the window and just feel that fresh air, the bed that you lie on at night, comforting and supporting your body. You have time to sit and read a book. You have, gratitude in anything. But you've got to make the start. And I give you these simple examples because sometimes we think, it has to be something so complicated to feel gratitude. No, start with something simple. And before you know it, you'll be like, wow, I'm grateful for this and that. This thing that I didn't even have has now come into my life, and how grateful I am for that. Have faith that everything is unfolding as it should. The only question that remains is, are you ready to break free from that past known reality and create the reality that you desire, that you deserve? But if you're still thinking, you know what, I'm trying, but my now is just too much, it's just too heavy, and I'm really struggling, then go check out this video where I walk through the process that can help guide you through this.